Today, I want to dive into some critical statements and contradictions coming out about the situation in Gaza and the recent ceasefire. Let's break this down all together. Let us start with the unbelievable truth from incoming United States Ambassador to Israel, Governor Mike Huckabee.
Do you believe that President Trump believes, and you do believe, that a two-state solution is the future?
No. I think we have to recognize there was a Palestinian state. It was called Gaza. Look how that turned out. You can't have a Palestinian state on top of the Israeli state if the Palestinians continue to believe that Israel shouldn't exist. Because the Palestinians don't believe in a two-state solution. They believe in a one-state solution, and their solution, and Israel disappears. That's no solution whatsoever. Israel has a right to its autonomous, indigenous homeland that they've had for 3,500 years since the days of Abraham.
If the incoming Trump administration policy will be based on Governor Huckabee's truthful understanding of our situation and the Middle East and our enemies, we are looking forward to 4 amazing years where America will truly be blessed. Now I want to also highlight how incoming National Security Advisor, Congressman Mike Waltz, has been clear and strong, recently stating, I quote, "Hamas will never govern Gaza. That is completely unacceptable," end quote. Watch this.
From your perspective, if this deal goes through and we enter what's characterized as the first phase, does that effectively mean the war is over? Does a ceasefire mean that its work is done in Gaza for the foreseeable future?
Well, I certainly think Hamas would like to believe that, but we've been clear that Gaza has to be fully demilitarized. Hamas has to be destroyed to the point that it cannot reconstitute, and that Israel has every right to fully protect it.
And in another video, in response to a question about whether President Trump would support Israel applying sovereignty in Judea, Samaria, and Gaza, Waltz said this.
Does Mr. Trump support annexation of the West Bank and Gaza?
What we have made clear to Bibi Netanyahu, to his government, and I want the Israeli people to hear me loud and clear. If Hamas reneges on this deal, if Hamas backs out, moves the goalpost, what have you, we will support Israel in doing what it has to do, number one. And number two, Hamas will never govern Gaza.
First of all, great question. Those are the questions of truth that we want discussed every day in the news cycle, so people hear about these truthful solutions and it gets into their heads. Now, Waltz did not answer yes or no to supporting Israel's application of sovereignty in Judea, Samaria, or Gaza. And yes, she asked about Gaza. But he firmly said that President Trump and his team have assured Prime Minister Netanyahu that if Hamas reneges on this deal and Hamas backs out, moves the goalposts, what have you, we will support Israel in doing what it has to do, end quote. All of that is extremely, extremely encouraging and positive. However, there's also this. The Jerusalem Post reports that Trump told NBC News, and I quote, "It's very important that the ceasefire holds," end quote. And that Waltz has reportedly told hostage families that the United States will ensure all stages of this deal are implemented. Now, don't get me wrong. We want all of our hostages freed, and that's only going to happen if all stages are implemented. However, how can all these stages be implemented in this ceasefire? Because Hamas will never agree to implementing all the stages unless they remain in control of Gaza in the end. But Israel, with promises from the Trump administration, is being told that Hamas cannot remain in power in Gaza. The math doesn't add up. So we're left with 2 potential outcomes. Either, number one, Israel is forced to accept an Islamo-Nazi entity in control of Gaza, whitewashed under the guise of some international force or some other diplomatic mumbo-jumbo, but it's really allowing Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, to be in charge there. Or Israel is given permission to go back into Gaza, finish the job, and remain there forever. There is no middle ground. Any attempt at a diplomatic solution that allows Hamas, or any international diplomatic solution that allows for Arab self-rule in Gaza so that they can remain in control of Gaza, is doomed to failure and will only embolden our enemies. I hope and pray that the Trump administration stands by its promise to ensure that Gaza can never again threaten Israel, and that the only way to make that happen is for Israel to stay in Gaza forever and make it Jewish again. It is the only solution that ensures our safety and prevents another October 7th invasion and massacre. There is no other solution that protects us, only diplomatic delusions that endanger us. We must stop pretending that the people of Gaza are innocent bystanders. The October 7th travesty proved that even non-combatants in Gaza were deeply involved in the atrocities. We've seen videos, heard their words, and watched their celebrations as our hostages were paraded in the streets of Gaza on October 7th. Just watch. And Gaza women and mothers today, like many Arab Muslim women in Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, openly support genocidal ideologies to kill Jews. Not male, mothers! Just listen to this.
ينجبون أعدادا كبيرة من البنات والبنين.
يعني
كان الرد جميل. الرد جميل. نحن ننجب هؤلاء بكثرة لندفعهم حتى للموت.
And this.
لا نحن الحياة غالية.
الحياة غالية بس احنا لا، احنا عم صفر. تسواش اشي، عشان هيك بتلقى استشهاديين وهيك بخافوش عادي. وكلنا حتى اولادنا فيش حدا بخاف من الموت. طبيعي عنا.
أنا سألتك بدك محمد ما يكون طيب تعطينه يستشهد؟
طبعا.
والله؟ على ايش؟
إذا كان للقدس عادي. بتقتلوهم أنتوا بالعشرات صح؟ هذا لما يصير طخ وهيك صح ولا لا؟ ولا بتنكر هيك؟
لا ما بنكر.
ما بتنكر. بموت بالعشرات عنا. أنتوا واحد عندكم بموت الدنيا بتقوم عندكم بتختلف عنا. إحنا عادي بزغرطوا بفرحوا لما يستشهدوا. عشان إحنا عنا خلص الشهيد شو منزع حاجة عظيمة الواحد يستشهد عنده. أما أنتوا عندكم موت واحد بتقوم الدنيا وبتقع. صعب كتير عندكم.
إيش أحسن؟
شو أحسن؟ الشهيد؟
لا إيش أحسن؟ أحسن نحن الحياة الغالية ولا الحياة مش غالية؟
لا الحياة مش غالية. لا الحياة مش غالية.
And this.
لها دور عظيم في تربية أبنائها ودفعهم للجهاد في سبيل الله عز وجل. هذه طبعا أسمى شيء يعني بتعمله، فهي بيكون دورها بجانب الرجل لا تقل عنه أبدا. حتى يعني عندما يخرج الزوج للجهاد فهي يعني لا تقول له يعني ما تروحش أو تمنعه، لا، فهي بتشجع وبتدعم وهي التي تدفع به، فهي التي تجهز يعني أغراضه وتودعه يعني ويعني ترحب بهذا الشيء، وهي تغرس في أبنائها حب الجهاد وحب الرباط وحب الشهادة في سبيل الله عز وجل. لأنه يا أختي الحبيبة إذا كل أخت وكل أم بدها تمسك ابنها وتمنع من الخروج للجهاد في سبيل الله، من الذي يجاهد؟ من الذي يخرج؟ من لفلسطين؟ ففلسطين يا أختي غالية وتحتاج منا إلى الأشلاء والدماء والمهج في سبيلها. ألا إن سلعة الله غالية، ألا سلعة الله هي الجنة، فالجنة تحتاج منا إلى دماء وأشلاء وجهود في سبيلها إن شاء الله رب العالمين.
And listen to this little girl, a student of a United Nations funded UNRWA school in Samaria.
أنا اسمي آية أحمد عبد الله سعيد البنا، مدرسة بنات مخيمة الكرم.
بتتعلمي في المدرسة إشي عن حق العودة؟
حق المقدم ونرجع على بلادنا وهيك.
اوكي، الأساسي في المدرسة عن إسرائيل
إنه نطخهم.
طب أنت بتكره اليهود؟
كتير.
ليش؟
لأنهم هم أذونا وهيك وإحنا ناخذ حقنا منهم.
شو رأيك في الهجوم على إسرائيل في 7 أكتوبر والحرب اللي صارت بعديها؟ هل هذا الإشي مرتبط بحق العودة؟
عشان ناخذ فلسطين وترجع لنا بلادنا.
برأيك الأقصى مجرد رمز؟
لا، مستعد للقتال عشانها.
في مكان لليهود في الأقصى؟
لا.
لليهود الحق في التواجد في فلسطين؟
لا، عشان إلنا فلسطين مش إلهم.
فلسطين بين اليهود وبين الفلسطينيين؟
لا، إحنا هاي أرضنا.
طب إيش اللي شو اللي بتحب تطلع عليه على التلفون أكثر إشي؟
إنه أتفرج على فلسطين والشهداء والمقاومين وحماس.
يعني أنت حابة تشاركي في المقاومة؟ ليش؟
عشان أقاوم وأخذ حقنا من إسرائيل وأصير شهيدة.
شو بتعلمك المدرسة عن السلام؟
بتعلمني إنه منحبش إسرائيل.
الشهداء أبطال؟
أبطال كثير.
طب أنت حابة تكوني شهيدة؟ ليش؟
عشان نطلع عند رب.
These children get this genocidal hatred from their mother's milk, literally. A few months ago, I wrote an article in jns.org titled Israel's Dangerous Bet on De-Radicalization, subtitled The Basis of the Palestinian National Identity Systematically Erases All Jewish Connection to Our Ancestral Homeland, all to prove that to think we can denazify our Islamo-Nazi enemies is a dangerous delusion. It's impossible. This is a 1,500 plus year religious ideology. And now look at what's happening in Gaza during the ceasefire. Mobs of Gazans are celebrating in the streets, chanting, Kaibar, Kaibar, Ya Yehud. A famous chant celebrating the massacre of Jews by Muslims in Kaibar 1,500 years ago. That is their inspiration. Religious, Islamic, genocidal hatred that will never go away. This is why Arab self-rule can never work near us, not in Gaza and not in Judea and Samaria. It doesn't lead to peace. It leads to terror, to death, and to more destruction. The only real solution is for Israel to retake full control of all of Gaza, resettle the land with Jewish communities, apply sovereignty in Gaza, Judea, and Samaria, and ensure that all terror supporters live elsewhere in the Middle East. The one good thing that Steve Witkoff has suggested, as this title states, Trump envoy floats plan to relocate Gaza civilians to Indonesia. Now, we don't care whether it's Indonesia, Syria, Sinai, Qatar. We only want to ensure that Trump understands it must be a permanent move and not a temporary move, which Witkoff is saying, to move them back to Gaza to then rebuild, to then threaten our lives in Israel. Implementing the right solution isn't just about Israel. It's about the entire freedom-loving world being safer. Hamas is part of the global Qatar-funded Muslim Brotherhood Islamic Jihad, and any solution that does not take Gaza away from them and instead allows them to rebuild Gaza for Islamo-Nazi enemies, allowing Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood, or any Muslim jihadis to think that they can continue their genocidal jihad to kill Jews and destroy the Jewish state of Israel, that sends a dangerous message to Sunni and Shiite jihadis everywhere in the world that patience and brutality in the end works. And its eternal jihadi march against all infidels to destroy the freedom-loving world will continue. Please share this critical information with your elected officials. They need to understand what is at stake. Any diplomatic solution that does not include Israel remaining in Gaza forever, that instead allows our Islamo-Nazi enemies in Gaza to remain living in Gaza and to rebuild it, is a threat not only to Israel, but to Americans and to the whole freedom-loving world. Israel stands on the front line in the battle against Islamic jihadi terror. Supporting Israel's victory is essential for the security of all freedom-loving nations and for Trump to successfully push forward with his peace through strength agenda. While hoping and praying for the proper policies from the incoming Trump administration, remember this: we Jews survived 3,000 plus years of continuous exile and persecution. We survived all of our enemies who tried to annihilate us, including the Egyptians, the Syrian Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish Inquisition, the German Nazis. Today, the nation of Israel is back as sovereign in our ancestral homeland, overcoming all the odds. And we are bigger, stronger, and more of a regional superpower than ever before, even more than what we were before our Islamo-Nazi enemies launched their horrific invasion massacre against us on October 7th, 2023. Our Islamo-Nazi enemies can think they can murder us, massacre us, rape us, and kidnap us, and get away with it. But they won't. God delineated the biblical borders of the Jewish state of Israel for a reason, because those borders are the only borders where we are able to properly protect ourselves and all the other minorities in the region also persecuted by Shiite and Sunni jihadis. Reality is pushing us to have those biblical borders once again. It is only a matter of time, not a question of if, but a question of when. Our enemies fail to realize that our existence is proof that God exists, because the existence of the Jewish people defies all rational thought and logic. They try to destroy the Jews, and that means that they are trying to take on God himself. Bad choice. Anyone who takes on the Jews is doomed to fail because they are taking on God. We are here to thrive and be a light of morality to the nations in our ancestral homeland. God is clear in the Torah, in the Bible. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. It's that simple. Please, President Trump, listen to Governor Huckabee. It is not about who is President of the United States of America or who is Prime Minister of Israel. The only one truly in charge of everything is the one above. Place your total faith only in him. Then act to make the human pawns of God in this world do the right thing. That's the partnership. Total faith in God, do what we can do so that human beings do the right thing. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, and when they don't, we have to still have our faith in the one above. That's the winning combination, folks. It's up to us and total faith in God above. I'm Yisrael Chai. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this truth. And if you're not yet a subscriber to our daily, belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect Pulse of Israel videos, what are you waiting for? Go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And we are a donor-based operation. We need your support. We are heavily shadow banned and censored across all social media platforms. It's thanks to your donations that our videos can get seen. And we want to get seen by even more people. So every once in a while, whether big or small, make a donation. Click on pulseofisrael.com and click the donate button. In the meantime, shalom everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.